guys! Welcome to Environmental Systems and Societies. Before we get started with the content, I wanted to dedicate a few lessons just to talking about the course. If you're coupling this course with an IB exam, talking a little bit about the format of the IB program and how to best study for your exams, and then also talking about IB command terms, so how to write answers in an IB course so that you maximize your point values. If you feel pretty comfortable with all of that information, you can jump right ahead to Unit 1. But if you'd like to continue with the introduction, let's get started. So first, I want to take a minute to introduce myself. I am Caroline Schley. I grew up in New York City, and I am certified in secondary biology education. I pursued an undergraduate degree at University of Colorado at Boulder. I majored in environmental science and hydrology. I minored in political science. And then I took a few years to work in the ski industry before going back for a master's degree at NYU in education. So between my love of the outdoors, my interest in politics, and my interest in science, this Environmental Systems and Societies course has been a really great class for me to teach. Our class is broken up into 8 units, 9 including this introduction, and we follow the units on the IB syllabus. So you can see all of the units listed out here, and we're going to go through what's in each of those just briefly for the rest of this class. So first, you have the introduction. You are in the introduction to the course right now. Next, we'll do a little introduction to IB in general, and then to IB command terms. In Foundations of Environmental Systems and Societies, we talk a little bit about the environmental movement, how environmental values are formed, and the basics of environmental science, stuff like sustainability. Then we talk about ecology. In our ecosystems and ecology unit, we go over all the basics of how living things interact with each other, how their populations are controlled, and then we talk a little bit in the very last lesson about investigating ecosystems and lab work that you can do in this class. In Biodiversity and Conservation, we talk a little bit about the history of life on the planet. We talk about current threats to biodiversity and what human populations are doing to conserve different populations of animals. In Water, Aquatic Food Production Systems and Society, we talk about how the water cycle impacts human populations on the planet, and then what we are doing to keep water as a clean and sustainable resource. We do the same thing in Unit 5 for soil systems and societies, just give the basics of what soil systems are and then talk about how human life is impacting soil on the planet. We do the same thing for atmosphere. You'll notice that this unit is a little bit shorter. Introduction to Atmosphere is all about the composition and structure of the atmosphere. And then photochemical smog and acid deposition deal a little bit with the history of pollution in the atmosphere. The textbook that I use, which I love, it's Oxford Press, Environmental Systems and Societies by Jill Rutherford and Gillian Williams. I don't know if you can see their names down here. I love this book. They break this unit up into 4 classes, but I think that we can do it in 2, and I don't want to waste your time. So I do that in this unit about atmospheric systems and societies, and also the unit about climate change and energy production. We talk about energy choices and security, and then everything about climate change, impacts, causes, mitigation, and adaptation. In the last unit of the course, we talk about human populations and resource use. So population dynamics, how we use resources, and how we get rid of waste. I hope that this is a helpful overview to the course. When you're ready, move on to either the introduction to the IB lesson or just jump right into the content in Unit 1. See you there.